Imagine two people. One saves 20% of every paycheck, never misses, never cheats, no risky moves, no debt, just discipline. The other saves almost nothing, spends freely, but quietly buys assets, small ones, boring ones, things most people ignore. 10 years later, the first person feels stuck. The second person is financially free. This sounds backwards. It feels unfair. It almost sounds wrong. But the uncomfortable truth is this: saving money alone can actually make you poorer. Not because saving is bad, but because of where the game is really being played. And right now, most people are playing the wrong game. For decades, we were told a simple formula: work hard, spend less than you earn, put money in the bank, repeat for 40 years. It sounds responsible, safe, almost moral. And it did work in 1980. Back then, a savings account in the United States could pay around 8% interest. Inflation averaged about 3 to 4%. That meant your money was actually growing. Today, many savings accounts pay around 1 to 4%. Inflation often runs 3 to 6%, sometimes much higher, which creates a quiet, invisible problem. Your money may be growing, but your purchasing power is shrinking, and that changes everything. Let's walk through something simple. Imagine you save $10,000. You feel secure, responsible, prepared. Your bank pays you 2% interest. After 1 year, you now have $10,200. Sounds like progress, but inflation that year is 4%, which means the things that cost $10,000 now cost $10,400. You gained $200, but lost $400 in buying power. Net result? You became poor while doing everything right. This is the hidden math nobody talks about. Saving protects money, assets grow money, and those are not the same thing. Here's where the system gets interesting. The wealthy rarely hold large amounts of idle cash, not because they don't like safety, because they understand something most people never get taught. Cash is a tool, not a destination. Money sitting still is slowly being taxed by inflation. Money inside productive assets is working. Think about what the richest institutions own: real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property, infrastructure. Notice something? None of that is a savings account.
Because the real financial game isn't about storing money. It's about owning things that produce money. There's also a psychological trap hiding here. Saving feels productive. You see the number grow. You feel in control. It feels like progress. Investing feels uncertain. Numbers move, prices fluctuate, headlines scream danger. So the brain chooses comfort over growth, even if the math says that comfort is expensive. It's a strange irony. The safest feeling strategy can be the riskiest long-term strategy, and the uncomfortable strategy is often the one that builds wealth. Now, zoom out. There's a bigger force at work. Modern economies are built on growth. Governments want spending. Businesses want expansion. Markets expect rising profits. Stagnant money doesn't help that system, so policies quietly encourage movement instead of storage. Interest rates fall, money supply expands, asset prices rise, and slowly, without anyone announcing it, the rules change. If you only save, you fall behind. If you own assets, you keep up. If you own productive assets, you move ahead. This isn't conspiracy, it's just how growth economies function. But here's where things get even more uncomfortable. People often think, I'll start investing when I have enough savings, but the definition of enough keeps moving because prices keep rising. Homes get more expensive, stocks trend upward, education costs climb, healthcare rises. So while someone waits to feel ready, the entry price keeps drifting further away. This creates a dangerous loop. Save, wait, prices rise, save more, wait longer. Meanwhile, asset owners experience the opposite loop. Own, prices rise, net worth rises, borrow cheaply, buy more assets. Two different games, two different outcomes, same economy. None of this means saving is useless. Savings are survival fuel, emergency protection, opportunity cash, stress reduction. But confusing saving with wealth building is like confusing parking with traveling. One protects you, the other moves you, and most people were only taught the first half. There's also something rarely discussed. Time matters more than amount. Someone investing small amounts for 20 years often beats someone investing large amounts for 5. Because compound growth isn't linear. It starts slow, almost boring. Then suddenly it isn't. At first, it looks like nothing is happening. Then it looks like luck. But it was just time doing what time does. So here's the real uncomfortable question hiding underneath all of this. If saving alone isn't enough, why is that still the main advice most people hear? Why do schools teach budgeting but rarely asset ownership? Why do people learn how to minimize spending but not how to maximize ownership? And what happens to a generation that masters saving but never learns the second half of the equation? Because maybe the real risk isn't that people don't save enough. Maybe it's that they were taught a strategy designed for a different era, an era where money in the bank actually grew, an era that no longer exists. So the real question isn't, should you save money? Of course you should. The real question is much more uncomfortable. If saving protects you from emergencies, what protects you from staying average forever? And if the rules of money quietly changed, how many people are still following instructions written for a game that already ended?